Do you think your kindness is a shield? It is actually the very blade they use to flay you alive. There is a silence that begins not with a scream, but with the snapping of a single invisible thread. You have spent years tugging at the fraying edges of your soul. Now the entire garment is about to unravel. One day you will look at the wreckage of your devotion and realize something terrifying. Something deep inside you has finally, mercifully, stopped. This isn't bitterness, for bitterness is a fire that still needs oxygen. This is clarity, cold, hollow, and absolute. To a manipulator, your awakening is more dangerous than any weapon. Their entire empire of control is built on the lie that you are infinite. Today, we dissect the anatomy of the awakened empath. We will explore why the most sensitive souls are chosen as the ultimate prey. The narcissist doesn't want a partner. They want a mirror that never reflects their own ugliness. You were never a person to them, only a vessel for their discarded filth. Carl Jung knew the darkness that dwells within the good person. He saw how the most empathetic among us become hollowed-out containers for others. Your nervous system was designed to sense the shifts in the wind, but in the hands of a monster, that gift became your most intimate prison. You feel their sadness as if it were your own blood. You apologize for the rain, hoping they won't blame you for the storm. This isn't love. It is a highly refined form of psychological servitude. You were conditioned to believe your needs were a burden to be hidden. The predator recognizes you in a crowded room. They see the person who smooths over conflict at the cost of their own dignity. They love the way you work twice as hard to make them comfortable. They feed on your desperate need to be good and useful. Jung called this the provisional personality, a self-constructed entirely from the scraps of other people's expectations. You are not broken. You are simply performing a role you never auditioned for. You learned that belonging required a total surrender of the self. If you stop being useful, you stop being wanted. That is the dark contract you signed in the silence of your childhood. But pay attention, because the glass is filling. Drop by drop, month by month, the weight of their shadows is crushing you. You rationalize the lies and you forgive the cruelty. Your empathy is so vast that it can accommodate even your own destruction. You have become an unconscious container for their rejected shame. Every time they hurt you, they are simply handing you their own self-loathing. The narcissist cannot face their own shadow, so they find a saintly soul to carry it for them until the end of time. You think you are being patient and understanding. In reality, you are just a voluntary landfill for their psychological waste. You believe that one day they will finally see you. They won't, because a predator never falls in love with the prey. Then comes the breaking point, the moment the weight becomes fuel. It doesn't happen with a bang, but with a terrifyingly quiet internal click. The shell cracks, and for the first time the light of the truth is blinding. You realize that you have been apologizing for the crime of existing. Cognitive dissonance is a cruel teacher. It forces you to choose between the lie that kept you safe and the truth that will set you free. Some people retreat back into the comfortable darkness of their cages. They tell themselves that one more conversation will fix the unfixable. But you are different, aren't you? You have decided that the pain of staying is finally greater than the fear of leaving. Welcome to the night journey, as Jung would call it. To find your light, you must first descend into the cellar of your own psyche. Your shadow has been waiting for you for a very long time. It holds your rage, your no, and your right to be unpleasant. For an empath, the shadow is the most honest part of the soul. It is the only part of you that refuses to be exploited any longer. When you integrate this darkness, you don't become a monster. You simply become a person that a monster can no longer touch. The manipulator relies on your predictable goodness, but an empath with a shadow is unpredictable. and therefore terrifying. Wait, here is the twist you didn't see coming. The person you were trying to save was never the narcissist, it was your own ego. You needed them to be broken so you could feel superior in your healing. Your selfless devotion was actually a subtle form of control. You played the martyr because you were too afraid to be a master. Realizing your own complicity is the most painful part of the awakening. But once you own your darkness, their power over you evaporates instantly. You no longer need their validation to prove that you exist. A fed-up empath is dangerous because they have nothing left to lose. They have already seen the worst of themselves and survived. They stop explaining, stop arguing, and most importantly, stop caring. Silence is the ultimate weapon against those who live for drama. The narcissist will scream, manipulate, and play the victim. Your lack of reaction will be the mirror that finally destroys them. You are now a ghost in their machine, a presence they can no longer haunt, a soul they can no longer possess. This is not a victory of good over evil. It is the victory of consciousness over the mechanical nature of human suffering. You have earned your coldness. Do not let anyone tell you it is a sin. In a world of predators, your indifference is your only sanctuary. Remember, the empath who has integrated their shadow is the only true free will. Everyone else is just a puppet, dancing on the strings of their trauma. Look into the void and see that it is not empty. It is filled with the version of you that refuses to be small. Stop seeking love from those who only know how to consume. Your heart is a temple, not a soup kitchen for the spiritually bankrupt. The transformation requires you to face truths that shake your foundation. It requires you to grieve the person you thought you were. Disappoint those who preferred the version of you that asked for nothing. Their disappointment is the sound of your chains hitting the floor. Trust yourself, even when the world calls you cold or heartless. They only say that because they can no longer use you as a footstool. The alternative is to stay asleep and remain a provisional human being. But you didn't come this far just to remain a shadow of yourself. Your sensitivity was never the problem. Your lack of boundaries was. Now, build walls that even the most charming devil cannot climb. Power is not found in kindness, but in the choice to withhold it. True strength is knowing exactly who deserves your light. You are no longer a victim of their narrative. You have taken the pen, and you are writing the final chapter of their control. Let them starve in the cold of your absence. It is the most humane thing you can do for a parasite. Do not look back, for there is nothing left but ashes. The version of you they knew is dead, and it isn't coming back. Breathe in the silence and feel the weight of your own soul. It is heavy, it is dark, and it is finally yours. The world will try to pull you back into the light of politeness. Resist it with every fiber of your newly reclaimed being. There is a certain beauty in being misunderstood by the blind. Their confusion is the ultimate proof of your evolution. Stand tall in your hollowed-out clarity. You have survived the storm, and now you are the wind itself. Darkness is not the absence of light, it is the presence of truth, and the truth is, you were always the one in control. They needed you to survive. You never needed them at all. Realizing this is the ultimate act of psychological rebellion. Your journey is not about healing, it is about becoming whole. And wholeness includes the teeth and the claws you've hidden for so long. The empath is not a sheep. They are a wolf who fell in love with a mask. The mask has slipped, and the wolf is finally awake. Silence is your new language, and indifference is your new armor. Wear them well, for the world is full of hungry ghosts. Your heart is no longer a public park for the emotionally destitute. It is a fortress, and the gate is permanently locked. The narcissist's greatest fear is being forgotten. Grant them that fear with every ounce of your being. Let their name turn to dust in your mouth. Let their memory become a shadow you no longer cast. You are the architect of your own isolation, and it is beautiful. Better to be alone in the truth than crowded in a lie. The good version of you was a masterpiece of social engineering. The real version of you is a force of nature. Nurture your internal winter, for it protects the seeds of your future. Nothing can grow until the old structures have completely frozen over. Do you feel the power in your lungs? That is the air of a world that no longer belongs to them. Stop asking why they did what they did. Start asking how you will ensure they never have the chance again. You are not a survivor. You are a conqueror of your own weakness. The battle was never with them, but with the part of you that loved them. The highest form of revenge is to be so changed that they no longer recognize you. Make them feel like they are talking to a total stranger. Your empathy is now a precision instrument, not a blunt object. Use it to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. The predators will move on to easier targets. Let them, for you are no longer in the business of saving anyone but yourself. Hold your head high in the darkness of your newfound wisdom. You have paid for this clarity with the currency of your own life. True compassion is refusing to participate in someone else's delusion. By leaving, you are finally telling them the truth. They will hate you for it, and that is their problem. Your only responsibility is to the flame you finally managed to light. The path ahead is narrow and cold, but it leads to the self, and the self is the only home you have ever truly had. Do not fear the silence that follows the end of a toxic cycle. It is the sound of your own potential finally beginning to breathe. Every tear you shed was a drop of blood from a wound that is finally closing. Let the scars be your medals of honor. The world needs empaths who have been through the fire. We don't need more victims. We need more masters of the internal dark. You have seen the bottom of the abyss and realized it has a flaw. You can now walk anywhere without fear of falling. Let your presence be a warning to those who seek to exploit. You are the embodiment of the lesson they never wanted to learn. The predator's charm is a cheap trick once you know the mechanics. You can see the hooks before they even leave their mouth. Stay vigilant, for the ego loves to play the role of the healer again. Remind yourself that you are a person, not a project. The most dangerous thing you can do is to start feeling sorry for them again. Pity is the gateway drug to your own re-enslavement. Keep your heart in your pocket and your eyes on the horizon. The past is a graveyard. Stop trying to dig up the corpses. You are the master of your own attention, and that is your greatest asset. Where you look is where you live. Choose to live in the reality of your own strength. Choose to be the one who finally said enough and meant it. This is the end of the line for those who lived on your light. The sun has set on their empire, and the night belongs to you. Breathe deep and feel the cold air of freedom. It is sharp, it is bracing, and it is exactly what you need. You are finally, irrevocably alone, and it is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. No more voices, no more weight, just you. Let this be the first day of your real life, the one where you ask for permission from no one. The darkness didn't take you, it made you. And what it made is something the world has never seen before. Carry this clarity like a torch through the rest of your days. Never again will you let a shadow dim your own. The awakening is complete, and the predator is now the ghost. You are the only one left standing in the room. If this resonance has reached the dark corners of your soul, then the transmission is finished. Do not wait for a sign, for you are the sign. Subscribe to the silence within yourself and leave the noise behind. Join the shadows of the wise or remain a light for the fools. The choice is yours.